Hi, I'm Mary Kay Oppie, president of the nonprofit Home Safety Council. Our mission is to prevent home injuries. As you watch this important safety video from the Wisconsin Alliance for Fire Safety, keep in mind that here in America, we are more likely to be injured at home than anywhere else. That fact often surprises people because we tend to think of our homes as our safe havens. Our homes can and should be safe. Yet needless home injuries cost our society nearly $380 billion each year. And sadly, thousands of lives are lost annually to this quiet public health crisis. Fires and burns are among the leading causes of preventable home injuries and related deaths. The good news is that home fires are highly preventable. When people have the right information at hand, they make the right decisions in an emergency, and that saves lives. The Home Safety Council is proud to be part of this effort to bring the video to your community. By watching it closely, you'll be arming yourself and your family with information that can help you prevent a fire. And if the unthinkable does happen and fire strikes, you'll have learned how to defend yourself and survive. All of us have the responsibility to keep our homes as safe from hazards as we can. To do that, we must take the initiative to understand the risks and learn how to avoid them. Fortunately, we're not alone. There is no public safety advocate more powerful than firefighters, and no one is better equipped or more motivated to help us stay safe. Your local fire department is a valuable resource. Firefighters and other first responders are the first on the scene, not just in fires, but also in response to falls, poisonings, drownings, and virtually every other community emergency. Equally important, firefighters are also at our side before an emergency, teaching people in their communities how to be safer. This video is an example of the work your local firefighters are doing on your behalf. Please watch closely and learn how you can make fire safety a priority in your home and with all the members of your family. Thank you.
Home is our refuge from the chaotic pace and perils of modern society. Wherever we call home, we want that place to be safe and comforting. Yet even at home, we are at risk every day from fire. Fires in homes kill more than 3,000 people every year. Every home should have smoke alarms and an emergency escape plan. But the most important fire safety step is prevention. We don't have to be victims of a home fire. Back in 1974, the watershed federal report, America Burning, described simple steps we could all take to prevent fire from happening. And there are important things we all should do to protect our homes and our families if fire does strike, such as installing smoke alarms and an automatic fire sprinkler system. Hi, I'm Ron Hazelton. In the next few minutes, we're going to walk through this home and identify potential fire hazards. And I'm going to show you how easy it is to correct them. By the end of this program, you'll know how to make your own home safer from fire. But first, where does fire strike most often? The #1 cause of home fires is cooking equipment. The second leading cause is supplemental heating equipment, such as portable heaters, wood stoves, and fireplaces. The leading cause of fire deaths is smoking materials, another good reason to kick the habit. So let's start in the kitchen. Now our top concern here is the range. Let's suppose you're cooking a meal, something like this one, and the phone rings or the baby cries, and you leave this unattended but still cooking. If nothing goes wrong, you're lucky, but if something does go wrong, you're not here to correct it and prevent a fire. Grease like this can overheat and ignite in the blink of an eye. Stovetop fires can quickly spread, and as you can see, there's plenty of fuel for a fire in this kitchen. So here's what I do when I'm distracted while I'm cooking. First of all, I turn the heat down to low, and then I take a towel, just toss it over my shoulder like this when I leave the kitchen. I deal with the distraction as quickly as I can, and the towel reminds me to come back to the range and finish up. Now here's another scenario. You're cooking potatoes in a pan of oil like this. You're hungry. You want those potatoes to get cooked faster. So you turn up the heat. The problem? Well, applying too much heat or heat too rapidly to cooking oil can cause it to rapidly reach its ignition point. It doesn't have to come into contact with the burner or the flame to ignite. So always use moderate cooking temperatures and Never leave your pan while you're cooking. When you finish cooking, turn the heat off, move the pan to an unused burner, and cover with a lid. Now, if you ever do experience a pan fire, it's very important to remember what not to do. Never try to carry a pan of burning oil outside or to the sink. The hot oil can slosh, burning you and spreading the fire around the kitchen. The safest way to extinguish a small pan fire is to put on an oven mitt, something like this one, take a large lid and slide it across the pan like this, smothering the flames. Then turn off the burner. Now you might be wondering about a fire extinguisher. Portable fire extinguishers can be very helpful if there is a small contained fire, like what you might have if someone dumped a smoldering cigarette into a trash can like this one. But they're not a good choice for household grease fires. The extinguishing agent is propelled out so rapidly that it can actually push the burning oil out of the pan and spread the fire around the kitchen. Your best bet is still a lid. Before we move on to the family room, let's take one last look around the kitchen. Now, organize your cooking equipment so that your pots and pan lids, like this, are kept close to the cooktop. This is a good spot for them right here in this drawer next to the oven. And move any flammables, like this wooden spoon, dish towel, or mitt, away from the cooking surface. Over here would be a good spot. Now, you know, sometimes we don't think about it, but severe burns can be caused by electricity. That's why it's important to have ground fault circuit interrupters, or GFCIs, located near a sink. You'll also want these in basements, outdoors, and near hot tubs and bathrooms. Oh, I notice we have a smoker in this house. Now, smoking can add a significant fire hazard to your home, but there are some things you can do to help. For one thing, use the proper kind of ashtray. This is a good one. It's got a very solid base right here and grooves to keep cigarettes from rolling out. What you don't want to do, though, is just simply pour butts like this into a waste can. First, douse them, and then throw them away. Now, if children live in or routinely visit your home, you want to keep your smoking materials well out of their reach. In this home, matches, cigarettes are kept up here in this high wall cabinet along with the candles. Children are naturally curious about fires, so don't take any chances. Now, let's move on to the family room. See this portable space heater? Well, there's good news, and then again, there's some bad news. The good news is that it's UL listed, and it has the label right here on the bottom to prove it. Now, with any space heater, always read the operating instructions before you use it for the first time. Another plus, the grill or grate right here is relatively small. That means it's going to be difficult for combustible materials to come into contact with a heating element. However, small fingers can get through there, and this surface can get very hot when the heater is running on high, so warn children not to go near this. Now, another important plus is that this heater has a tip-over feature. If it falls like that, it automatically turns the heater off. All right, well, now for the bad news. This heater is way too close to this throw right here. It could easily ignite this or even the chair, so the rule of thumb is keep one of these a yard, 3 feet back from any combustible surface like drapes, upholstery, or other fabrics. In many parts of the country, people use wood stoves. Now, this is just a demonstration model, but it'll help me make a couple of points. First of all, when you buy one of these, choose one that's UL listed. And when you install it, check local codes, particularly to find out what the distance should be between the stove and the wall, what the wall material should be, and how large the hearth should be and what it should be made of. This floor protection puts a non-combustible surface between the stove and the surrounding floor. Now, this is a wood stove, so it burns wood, and that means that it generates creosote. Creosote is a byproduct of burning wood, and it's combustible just as wood is. When you get too much buildup of creosote, it needs to be cleaned by a chimney sweep so it doesn't ignite and develop into a chimney fire. Well, this is a great room. It's really easy to understand why the family would like to spend time here. The fireplace has got this screen to prevent sparks and embers from popping out, a non-flammable surface down here on the hearth. And these glass doors, well, they make the fireplace more efficient, but they can get hot, as can this surrounding metal here. So it's important to teach children not to go near this or put up some kind of a barrier. Now, up here we've got a mantle which looks in pretty good shape except for this. these dried flowers are a little too close to the flames down here. So it would be better to replace them with something that can't burn. Oh, and one more thing here. It's okay to hang stockings by the chimney with care as long as there's not a fire down here. So if you start a fire down here, take the stockings down and also any holiday greenery that might be on the mantle. Your chimney needs to be inspected at least once a year because creosote builds up in there. And finally, over here, these fire starters, matches, kindling, and newspaper, just a bit too close for me. Well, that's good. The family's just recently had their heating system cleaned and inspected, and that's something you want to do at least once a year, probably around the start of the heating season. They've also kept the area in front of the furnace clear, important for fire safety and for efficiency. Obviously, you don't want combustibles nearby the furnace, and a lot of furnaces do collect their combustion air from this area out in front. This one happens to draw it in from the outside. Now, let's see what else is going on over here. Now, this is a natural gas-fueled water heater. Looks in pretty good shape. The area around it is neat and clean. That's good. There are no combustibles stored nearby. Now, over here, there are some paints and solvents stored. Well, this looks pretty good. The cans are well sealed. They're up high out of the reach of children. Let's check the labels here. Okay, these are both water-based paints, so they're non-flammable. Let's see what we've got here. Lacquer thinner. Now, this, it says right on the back of the can, vapors may cause flash fire. Well, as long as this is sealed up like this, it's fine, but it should drop and split open. Remember, we have a water heater and a furnace down here. The water heater has a pilot, and they both have at times burner flames. So this should be stored in an area that's well away from any kind of open flame. Well, there we go. Up high, out of reach, and out of sight. Now, while we're on the subject of flammable liquids, let's talk a bit about gasoline. Gasoline should never be brought indoors, even in small quantities. Gasoline vapors are highly explosive and flammable. Even a small spark like that caused by an electric light switch can cause an explosion. So always keep them in containers that are designed to hold gasoline, keep them in small amounts, and again, keep them high and up out of reach of children. Well, this portable heater is well positioned, 3 feet away from the bedding here, the drapery, and the chair, and it's unplugged. And this is a good idea to always keep them this way when they're not in use. But there are a couple things here that bother me. First of all, it looks like they intend to use this with an extension cord. You never want to do that. These draw a lot of current and they can overheat a small cord like this. And secondly, it's going into a receptacle that's got 3 other plugs in it. Now, I'm just going to put this right directly into the receptacle by itself. The reason is these draw, as I said, a lot of current, 12.5 amps. There's probably only 15 amps on this entire circuit. Put another appliance on this circuit, like a toaster or a hairdryer, and you're going to either trip a breaker or heat up a wire. Well, so far we've uncovered some cooking, heating, flammable vapor, and electrical hazards. So now, let's go to the laundry room. Well, I know what you might be thinking. The laundry room, all that water in there, how could there be a fire hazard? Well, the problem is not the washing machine, but the dryer. Now, all dryers have lint filters. Here's this one right down here. And they can accumulate a lot of lint very quickly. So, you want to clean this off after every load. And before you put this back, check in here. If you see lint inside, clean it out with a vacuum cleaner. Now, the lint that accumulates can be ignited by the heat of the dryer, not just down here, but also back here. Now, take a look. I'm going to pull this out. That's a vent hose right down there. It can also accumulate lint. So once a year, it's a good idea to take that off and clean it out or replace it, especially if the hose is plastic. Now, we've gone through most of the house and fixed several hazards that could have caused a fire. You can see how simple it is to identify and correct the kind of conditions that can lurk in just about any home. But the best way to ensure that your family survives a fire is to prevent it in the first place. So please, take a few minutes and go through your own home and see what you can find and fix. Every home needs a system of fire protection. The America Burning Report pointed out that we need to do a better job of fire prevention, early warning, and regular fire drills. The report also made clear the benefits of smoke alarms and automatic home fire sprinkler systems. In the next few minutes, I'm going to concentrate on early detection and how to best use the extra time that it gives you. I'll show you simple steps that you can take that will dramatically increase the odds that you and your family will survive a fire should one occur. But first, let's run the numbers. Every year, nearly 3,000 people die in home fires. That's 80% of all fire deaths. The majority of fatal home fires occur at night when we're sleeping. A real fire is a very scary thing. In a typical home fire, the flames start small but quickly grow and spread. Poisonous smoke builds lightning fast, making it difficult to see, breathe, and think clearly. The hot smoke is dark and thick, and the rooms grow scorching hot as the smoke spreads into them. Unchecked, the fire can build to the flashover phase, where everything in the room suddenly bursts into flames. No one can survive flashover. It can happen in under 2 minutes. That's why, if there's a fire, you need early warning and a quick, safe escape route. Let's start with early warning. If there is a fire, you may have only moments to act. Every second counts. Smoke alarms provide that early warning, which is especially important when fires occur at night when people are sleeping. Here's why. Smoke typically doesn't waken a sleeping person. Instead, smoke and toxic fumes actually put you into a deeper sleep. Without the early warning signal from a working smoke alarm, you may never wake up on your own in time to get out. Everyone needs to have working smoke alarms on every level. Well, like most everything, home improvement TV guys included, smoke alarms don't last forever, so replace them every 10 years. And if you don't know how old yours are, well, replace them now. Why take any chances? Smoke alarms are inexpensive and easy to install. And when you buy them, make sure to look for the UL symbol. It should be right on the package. Now, there are two types of smoke alarms, those that are battery operated and those that are connected directly to your household electrical system, called hardwired. Now, hardwired systems have a distinct advantage, and that is that when one alarm is activated, all of the alarms in the house sound at the same time. So, for example, if there's a fire in the basement, the alarm in your bedroom will go off at the same time, and that gives you and your family more time to escape. If someone in your family is deaf or hearing impaired, you can buy special smoke alarms that combine sound with flashing strobe lights or, in some cases, vibration. Check the yellow pages under Fire Protection Systems or Fire Alarm Systems, or visit your local hardware home improvement center. Sometimes they can special order those for you. No matter what kind of smoke alarm you're installing, it's important to put it in the path of the smoke. Now, smoke rises, so mount alarms up high. And at the top of a stairway like this, put them in the position the smoke will first reach as it travels up the stairwell. If you're installing a battery-type smoke alarm, you'll need just 3 tools: a drill, a hammer, and a screwdriver. Don't install smoke alarms too close to kitchens and bathrooms. You could get false alarms from cooking fumes and steam. Now, down here in the basement, the smoke alarm is mounted at the bottom of the stairs. That's because dead air can be trapped at the top against a closed door, slowing the progress of the smoke and delaying the alarm activation. National code requires that you install at least 1 smoke alarm on each level of your home and 1 outside each sleeping area. I recommend you also install 1 just inside the door of each bedroom. Now, in new construction in some communities, all bedroom smoke alarms have to be hardwired, and that's a job you really probably want to have an electrician do, since it has to be tied into your household electrical supply. And also, if you're going to choose a hardwire system, make sure you select one that has a battery backup. Once installed, you'll want to check that smoke alarm once a month, and that doesn't mean you've got to crawl up on a ladder to do it. You can simply take a broom handle and gently press the test button. When the battery power gets low, the smoke alarm makes a chirping noise. Replace the battery immediately when you hear this. And get in the habit of replacing all batteries at least once a year. Pick a time that makes it easy to remember, like when you change the clocks back in the fall. And here's a good idea. If you leave home for more than a few days, test the alarms when you come back, just in case a battery lost power while you were gone. You should dust or gently vacuum smoke alarms periodically. Don't ever paint them. That will affect their ability to work properly. Well, this home has plenty of smoke alarms. They're all properly installed in the right places, and they're all working. If a fire strikes here, the family will have an early warning But how will they use that extra time? This is the Williams family. Let's see how they do when we sound the alarm for their first family fire drill. Remember, in a real fire, every second counts. A quick escape will save your life, so you need to know how you'd get out before an actual fire. Every household is different. You need to figure out the best escape plan for your home and for the people who live with you. Think about the layout of your home and take into account the ages, abilities, and physical mobility of your family. The Williams family all made it outside in the first drill, but they could do better and need to spend some time working on their escape plan. To develop your plan, choose a time when your family is together and walk through your home. Have someone take notes, keeping track of what needs to be fixed. Try all doors and windows to make sure they open easily. Make a note to repair windows that are sticky or have been nailed or painted shut, and stubborn doors. Look for hazards like heavy furniture crowding exits and stairways that are cluttered or blocked. Plan to clear those paths right away. Consider which would be your best primary routes and which are best for backup routes. Generally, windows are backup routes. Think of how you would get out of upstairs windows, especially in bedrooms. If there's no easy way down to the ground, you might want to buy fire escape ladders. At the end of your walkthrough, choose a meeting place out in front that is a safe distance away from your home. Part of your plan is to agree that everyone's top priority is to get out and meet, so you know that everyone is safe. Teach children the fire department emergency number 911. They should get outside first and then call for help from a neighbor's phone or even a cordless phone. Think of home fire safety as a partnership with your local fire department. And one of the things you can do to help them help you is to make sure that your house numbers are clearly visible from the street so they can find you quickly in an emergency. Now, locks are important for security reasons, but make sure that everybody in the family, especially small children, know how to operate them and that they're reachable. If you have very small children, you may want to consider even lowering the lock. And if you're going to use one that operates with a key, we'll have the key hanging nearby so that anyone can get out in an emergency. Security bars like these on this demonstration model can give you peace of mind from burglars, but they can trap you in the event of a fire. So if you're going to use them, choose the type that is hinged along one edge like this and has a quick release mechanism on the inside. That way, if there is a fire, you can release them from the inside and escape. If you want to have these installed, check the yellow pages under ornamental iron. If you have young children, you may need to help them understand that they can't hide from fire and that fire is too fast for them to try to save a pet or any belongings. Fire safety experts say that frank, calm discussions with young children are most meaningful and easiest for them to remember. There's no evidence that scare tactics work, so keep it simple and keep it fun. Many families with children draw out the plan on a grid like this, marking escape routes, smoke alarms, and the fire department number. This is an excellent way to get kids involved in non-threatening fire safety discussions. It's a good idea to post the plan in a central family location, such as on the fridge. Remember, if someone is trapped inside, firefighters will work to rescue them. Because of their special equipment, they can survive inside a hot fire, but you can't. Get out as quickly as possible, and once you're out, stay out until firefighters say it's safe to go back inside. Recently, there's been quite a bit of news coverage about children not waking to the sound of smoke alarms. A fire is not the time to learn that smoke alarms won't wake your child. Make sure your fire drills test everyone in your home, including adults, at least once while they're sleeping to determine who wakes up and who doesn't, and to come up with a plan for assisting those who do not awaken. Children aroused during the night by a smoke alarm are often disoriented, so repeated practice allows them to react in ways that will save their lives. It's best to let children master the art of fire escape drills before you hold a drill at night. Also, there's no evidence to suggest that a surprise drill is best, so it's okay to tell your kids before they go to sleep that there will be a drill later. Well, we've walked through the Williams family home escape plan, discussed the variables, and fixed some of the problems. Now let's have them run through their drill again to see how they do. this time at night.
Come on out, buddy. Good job. Come on out.
Okay, come on. Let's go meet Daddy up by that meeting place.
Good job, guys. We're all here safe.
Well, that was a whole lot better, wasn't it? And remember, the more the family practices, the better they'll get. So let's review the priorities. We need a working smoke alarm on every level of the home, and we need to test those at least once a month. We need a home escape plan that will allow everyone to get out quickly in an emergency, and we need to practice that plan at least twice a year. So take a few minutes right now and start making your plan so you'll be prepared in case fire does strike. And remember, keep it simple and keep it fun. Now, we all know how important it is to have working smoke alarms in our homes. But did you know that there's an advanced fire protection technology that goes to the next level? Actually suppresses a fire, controls it, and usually puts it out even before firefighters arrive on the scene? I'm talking about an automatic fire sprinkler system. As the America Burning Report emphasized, a home fire sprinkler system can not only reduce property damage in the event of a fire in your home, but it can save your life. Fire sprinklers detect a fire in its early stages and spray water right where it's needed. This amazing technology could save thousands of lives if it were available in more homes. That's important to me, and that's why my family is protected by a fully sprinklered home. Actually, fire sprinklers have been around for more than 100 years. They were developed to protect big commercial properties, but now they've been perfected for home use. Installing sprinklers is not a job for do-it-yourselfers. You'll need to work with specially trained and licensed contractors. The best time to install sprinklers is when you're building a new home. You'll save some money doing it that way. But you can also install sprinklers in an existing home. It's called retrofitting, and the sprinkler contractor helps you determine the least intrusive layout for the pipes. Often you can use closets and hallways to minimize renovation work. It just takes a little extra planning to retrofit. That's how we did it in my house. Now, there's a lot of confusion about sprinklers. You've probably seen the movie where all the sprinklers go off at once, or burning toast causes a sprinkler to operate. Well, that's Hollywood. That's not the way they really work. It's just one of the misconceptions about fire sprinklers. Folks also think that sprinklers are very expensive, but the fact is they really don't cost any more than upgrading your cabinets or carpets. And for that level of investment, you get round-the-clock fire protection. Let's take a look at how fire sprinklers work. A network of piping is installed behind the walls and ceilings of your home. This piping is hooked up to the household water supply, so there is constant water pressure. All along the piping, sprinklers are installed at various junctions, depending on your home's construction and design. Each sprinkler can cover an area up to 400 square feet. The sprinklers are the only part of the system that you see. The sprinklers may be mounted on the wall or the ceiling. Sprinklers can be essentially hidden now, recessed into the ceiling and covered by a special heat-sensitive plate. These plates can be designed to blend in perfectly with your room. They're actually less noticeable than recessed lighting. Each individual sprinkler is designed to activate in the early stages of a fire. Now, the concealed type has a plate on the bottom. When the temperature near the ceiling reaches about 130 degrees, this plate drops away and the sprinkler activates. Other sprinklers, like this one for example, are mounted on the side walls. They have no plate to drop away, but both of these have the same activating principle. That is, there's a glass tube inside here filled with a liquid. When the liquid boils from the heat outside, the tube shatters, and that's what opens the valve. People underestimate the risk of fire. Now, let's compare a home fire where there are sprinklers to one where there are none. In the home with no sprinklers, the smoke alarms signal the fire and the residents get out safely, then call 911. It could take several minutes before the fire department arrives, and by then the fire has burned for 10 to 20 minutes. There is widespread smoke damage throughout the house and fire damage to several rooms. Firefighters will have to use several hoses to extinguish the fire, pouring 125 gallons of water per minute into the home, not to mention putting their own lives at risk. The water is under extremely high pressure, so in addition to water damage, there is bound to be breakage and other loss as well. In the end, the home could be a total loss. Now, let's look at a fire that occurs in a sprinklered home. The sprinklers detect the fire in about a minute or less and immediately operate. Only the sprinkler nearest the fire opens, spraying water on the flames. Again, in 90% of fires in homes with sprinklers, only one sprinkler is needed to control the fire. Sprinklers spray about 10 to 25 gallons of water per minute. Now that's enough to put out a fire, but it's only 1/10 as much as fire department hoses. The fire department arrives and turns off the water supply, stopping the flow of water from the sprinkler. Smoke and fire damage are confined to a single room. The water damage is a fraction of the damage from fire, smoke, heat, and the high-pressure hoses firefighters have to use. That means it's often possible for you to stay in your home during the minor repairs. A home fire sprinkler system can easily be tied into a central alarm station. When the sprinklers activate, a signal is automatically sent to the monitoring company, and they, in turn, notify the fire department. This can be a real advantage if a fire breaks out when you're not at home. If you already have a burglar alarm in your home, you would simply tie it into the alarm. For my money, residential fire sprinklers are a smart investment. Not only do they add to the value of your home, but they also protect your family, and that's priceless. So be prepared. Don't let fire safety become a burning issue in your home. Thanks for watching.